With so much content out there, how do you filter through all the noise and cut straight to the value? What has become very apparent is that the best way to learn is to surround yourself with those you aspire to be. But you can't just watch what they do. At some point you have to turn it into an action. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. On this podcast, you will go on a journey as we speak to people who are making the difference in their industries, and people who, if you listen to closely and take action, can turn you into who you want to be. My name is Mark Sclair, and this is the Building a Successful Career podcast. Hi everyone, this is the Mark Sclair podcast on building a successful sales career. As you know, I want to give value to whoever's listening, whoever's watching, and a big part at the moment is that a lot of people are struggling getting in front of people in regards to interviewing and finding new jobs. So rather than me talking about it, I thought I'd bring in two experts that can give more information, and that is George and Asif. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, guys.
Hi, as the esteemed gentleman said here, my name is Asif. I've been in Dubai for the last, I would say, 15 years. Predominantly worked from a recruitment background. Prior to that, had some investment banking and sales background, but generally it's always been around the sales realm. Now part of two businesses. One is a state-of-the-art recruitment agency, and the other one is to do with the production of CV videos, which we say is the future.
Myself, I arrived in Dubai back in 2013, so I've been here just over 7 years now. And again, I've been in a sales orientation from the age of 18, but mainly in the construction sector. Yeah. And then I know we'll come on to the conversation about the CV video. I mean, that's something that I actually saw something appear online. I thought it was a great idea. I didn't think many people were doing much of it. So it's something I decided to partner up with Asif, using his recruitment experience, my sales, and also the videography side of my experience.
Yeah. Because I watched a movie the other night, actually, and it was with Miles Teller and Bryan Cranston, and it's called Get a Job. And it's all about doing these these executive video search companies. And Bryan Cranston hasn't been able to find a job, and he's a bit too old for it and everything, and Miles Teller ends up building this video for him, and he gets in front of people. So it's quite amazing we're sat in front of each other today, just from me watching that movie a couple of weeks ago. But it's so important that paper is nothing anymore. A picture of someone is nothing anymore. People need to see somebody on camera, like we're doing today, and seeing what they're all about.
Well, like Asif and I say a lot of the time, is the standard CV will never go. It'll always be there. But the idea of the video resume is actually to get yourself out there even more. We're in a digital world now, in which that massively surprises me that we've not come into that, and certainly video resumes haven't been done. I mean, I did a search on YouTube, and I think I found stuff from 2012. Yeah. You know, that was the most current thing, which really surprised me. And then as you go through LinkedIn, there's just nothing being shown. I mean, what was your thoughts on just the paper CV?
Yeah, I mean, it's the paper CV is something. It's like you know, there's a movie, and speaking of movies, at Groundhog Day, and you know, these HR people and these directors are going through written information constantly, and as important as it is, it's just there's no personality, there's no characteristics behind it. Yeah. And you know, there's been times in the past when I've spoken to some of my clients, and they've even mentioned the idea. I mean, it would be great to get them to do a selfie video for 30 seconds to a minute and a half, especially at sales companies. They want to really pick up their tone of voice, their attitude, and how they present themselves. And a lot of these, hotshot sales companies say that they're able to pick that up within a very short clip. So, the idea came about then, and then me and George decided to do something about it, and that was off the back of the pandemic. And the idea came to mind, I think, which George thought of.
Well, I unfortunately was made redundant at the end of April.
Okay.
So that kind of made me think, well, what am I going to do in the meantime of trying to find a job? Yeah. And I actually did my own video resume. In fact, I did one 12 months ago, and I did one recently. And it's just the amount of engagement you get from putting that out there. Yeah. It's like with any business. The way to promote that business is constantly providing content. And an individual yourself, you are a business at the same time, you are a brand, and it's important that you get yourself out there.
Yeah, nice. So I actually had the experience of doing a video last year, because this headhunter approached me, and he said to me, There's a company that has checked your CV and they seem to like who you are and what you do. Can you do me a 1-minute video explaining who you are, what you do? Like, he gave me a bit of information actually, and I thought, yeah, this would be simple, but I wish I knew you guys before, because I literally sat there and I took a video of it. I must have done 200 takes.
Wow.
To get this thing right, yeah, and because he's speaking for 1 minute, I had no editing ability, nothing like that. Yeah. He gave me a sort of structure, but still I wanted to make it perfect. So when you've only got a short amount of period, so it's very important to get the professionals in to do this.
No, it's great today. You're not taking any takes, and you've just sped through.
I've gone a long way. Yeah, definitely, and that's the experience of doing it again and again and again. And with the videos, I do 1-minute videos now, doing sales training tips, and it's day and night from where I was a month ago. Sure. It's just, and the only reason you get better is by keeping practicing it. Yeah.
Well, the same thing happened for me actually. I bought the equipment, the camera equipment, and thought to myself, I'm going to do one of these.
Yeah.
And I'd written a script out, and I thought, how am I going to get through this? And I was probably the same. I did 200 takes. I mean, it's not easy. It's weird. A camera does funny things to you, especially when you really want to, gaze down that lens and make sure that you're engaging whoever's watching it. And I have mad respect for these guys that are doing it on a daily basis in the broadcasting industry. But it was really tough, and it actually probably took me 200 takes to actually be able to nail it in one shot, and that was a minute long.
Yeah. Still not satisfied.
Well, that's the problem. It's like with anything, with any video that you do, you never like the way you look, the way you sound. And it's funny, when I've had clients in doing the video resumes, it's amazing how they'll point out certain things about themselves, and you go, well, I actually never thought to look at that. Just maybe the way they speak. I mean, you laugh at me sometimes. My mouth goes up to the edge, and so but you never sort of look at yourself and critique yourself in that sort of way.
Yeah, no, definitely. There was definitely times where I'll be watching the videos, and it definitely makes a difference if you're doing a selfie video. For some reason, I'd look at it, and when I'd look at the video later, I wasn't even looking at the camera. And it just looked like I was just looking straight through the things. And then I turned the camera around, and it made a difference. But again, this is same as anything you do. You need to bring in people that actually know what they're talking about and can cut all those corners out and get you the right stuff you need. So moving on to my next question, because a lot of people, they want to know about these video CVs, and they need to know kind of the do's and don'ts. So are there any tips that you guys can give on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's several. We've got an FAQs page up which we specify that on, and it's interesting because every time I'm pitching or speaking or consulting with a candidate to do with whichever job it is, and we bring this concept up, and I think there's 3 primary questions that they'll ask, and one of them is, I can do this at home. Why would I use you guys? And our answer, there's a number of answers that we have for that. But if you see what we do, once you see the end product, whether it's the editing, the resolution, the density, the microphones that you have using there, the whole the finished look, and the music in the background, subtitles, infographics, I can go on. When you put that into the picture versus, with all due respect to Apple and all these other Samsung and all these other phone technological companies, it just doesn't do what we're able to do. So that's just the first thing. The second thing is, of course, we're able to advise, we're able to train, we're able to guide. We're consultants, so we'll find out what their weaknesses and their strengths are. And we'll, of course, work on both of those sides of things and see what works for them. And ultimately, we are recruiters. We know what CEOs, directors, HR managers look for, and therefore we are able to advise candidates who may not have a clue how to present themselves on a video CV. Yeah. So that's just and that's just two different parts. I mean, there's a lot more that.
Well, an example coming back to the first point you made is we had a guy in to do a video resume, and I was very impressed with him, very well prepared, and he openly admitted he'd actually done his own attempt at it. And you could tell the huge difference between the two. Yeah. And when it came to posting on social media, he only got 500 views off the one he'd done, whereas within a few days or within a week's period that we'd done for him, he'd had over 2,500 views. So, because we'd added the animation to it, we'd added captions, because as we all know, most of us go around with our phone on silent. and when we're watching social media, we're reading. So there's little bits and pieces like this that, you know, people don't realize. And so we do it in such a way that people are more likely to engage with it, because these videos are anything between 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And it's important that you captivate your audience, and certainly the target you're looking for, which is the employers, the HR directors, the CEOs, the managing directors, sales directors, whoever you're going for. So that for me was a really, really good example.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, because you can make a video, but you've got to get it out to people. And this is what this social media thing is all about now. Like you're saying, this is how you get it out to people with your expertise, because anyone can make a video. Like right now, I'm doing videos on a daily basis, and anyone else would probably quit because of the lack of views they're getting, but I'm persevering with it. So a lot of people would be deterred from it. But if they've got somebody who can give them the right pointers on how to make a video and then push it out to them, it's got to be worth it, hasn't it?
Yeah. And touching on what you've said there, it's the pre-consultation we'll give them beforehand, because yes, there is a lot of nerves before people are a bit, they could be the best salesman in the world, but they might not be any good in camera. So, we'll give them a pre-consultation, we'll talk them through it, we'll give them scripts, we'll go over the scripts with them, we'll make sure they're doing the right job. And then obviously at the filming, at the studio, George is fantastic. He sits with them, he consults with them even more, as many takes as it needs. Normally it's anything between 5 to 10 takes, and he'll go through the whole process, and then obviously all the editing happens. And this, by the way, is just a short snap of what we do. And I think ultimately it does come down to the ending, which of course George touched on with the case study example of the amount of views an individual got. But what we do really is we do teach them really how to get themselves out there, what sort of key phrases and key words to use, what to do. And with me and my recruitment background, I'm able to tell them, you don't only just post. Excuse me. A lot of people think all you need to do is post, and some people are like, well, I'm still at a job, I'm open to other work, but if I post, then I'm going to be found out. So we teach them other ways of doing things that are a lot more, recruitment's backbone is off the back of confidentiality, whether it's headhunting or whether it's people that are looking for better opportunities. Yeah. So we'll teach people how to also approach companies, directors, managers, etc., with their own CV video without having to post it. And there's so many different things that we can show them what to do in terms of landing a job that they simply may not be aware of when they're sat at home.
I've been through that process of looking for a job, and it isn't easy, and we're going through really tough times now. I'm talking 6 years ago. I'd only been here a year, and unfortunately, I'd gone through difficulty with the company, and I was applying for jobs, and I did what everybody was kind of saying to do. Get in contact with the recruiters, get on LinkedIn and start applying for jobs, go through all the job portals, Indeed, Norcree Gulf, Bait. There's a number there that I was going to, but I actually never got anything back, and your confidence slowly starts to degrade. And you start to think to yourself, in fact, I was getting to the point where, the money was running out, and it does happen, and we're seeing that now. And I'd given myself a cut-off point where if I don't find anything, I'm going to be going home. So, that's also one of the reasons, because in some cases, these jobs can be advertised, and they may not even exist. And so, it could be farming for CVs and what have you. So that can be very, very frustrating for people looking for work. So the idea of this is being proactive. We need people to be proactive. So Asif will probably back me on this one is, if you want to find a job, it is a full-time job. The best way to do it is to find the companies that you want to work for, and then pick up that phone and try and talk to the HR manager or even the owner or the MD. I know it's hard. There are receptionists, there are gatekeepers, but if you're persistent, and you'll know this from a sales perspective, if you're persistent, you come across in the right way, usually it does work and you can get to the right person. The idea is just be on that phone for a short period of time. Look, I just want to ask the question, is there any opportunities available? A lot of people don't like doing that. No. Me, Asif, yourself, we're very used to doing the cold calling. It's something we've done for many, many years. So picking up the phone, we get anxious about that, and we still do to this day. But we're a lot more experienced in how to, engage that conversation and where we're going to take that particular conversation. So the video resume takes a lot of that away, because we're getting in front of the right people. Yeah. So that's bringing people to them. And I found it, I was getting messages directly from recruiters, which is great, because you might not know that they particularly recruit in your particular sector. And then I was getting CEOs contacting me directly, please get in touch, come and see me, come for interviews. So it really does work. And we do have people that have certain reservations, and as if you're familiar with some of the reservations that we get.
Yeah, I mean, there's look, I'm on LinkedIn every day, all day, and so is my staff. And we since the COVID unfortunate scenario, all we're seeing is a bunch of people constantly putting up, I've been applying for jobs, I've been sending out my CV day in, day out, I've applied to 60 jobs today, and months have gone by and they've not gotten anywhere. And it's, there's a saying that I always say, if you bang your head on the wall, guess what, you're always going to get a headache. And it's the same patterns that people are doing. And whilst it used to work, traditionally it's a great thing to do, but we are, and as much as it sounds cliche to say the future in 2020 and we're going towards, we always hear that no matter what age we are, but we need to, the people that are realists wake up to those sorts of reality scenarios and come to the realization that they do need to do something different. And I think that's why the video CV concept does work. We've got results that we can talk about. I mean, almost every one of our candidates that has gone through the video CV and posted up their CV I would say within a fortnight, anything between 2 to 5 interviews have happened, or they've been invited to those interviews. And we're getting so much good feedback and reports off the back of it. I think because it is a new thing, people aren't used to the idea. There is an element of apprehension, there is an element of, is this going to work for me, is it not? But that's with anything that happens, that's a new concept, and we're seeing it more now.
What we're finding on the reservation side of things is people are like, I'm shy in front of the camera, I'm really nervous. And I had a young lady come and join us yesterday, and she was very, very nervous. And then after about 2 takes, she was like, I didn't realise it was going to be as easy as this. Yeah. And it really is. And I take them through it, like Asif says, I'll coach them through it, because the idea is you want to be presentable, you want to get your message across. We actually use a teleprompter. So we actually put the words back up in front of the screen, in front of the camera, so you actually cannot see the camera behind it. So it's funny, when you're reading your script back to yourself, as long as it doesn't look like you're reading it, the idea is to try and be a little bit more animated, the way you speak. But so that was one of the reservations we get, and I'm trying to think, what's the other one that we get? Oh yeah, we've already touched on that, is what if I do it myself? So we know the problems that are associated with that.
Yeah, I think with these and anything you do, someone is going to judge you on how much you've invested in it or invested in yourself. And if you're literally taking a selfie video and you're sending it on, I don't think the employer is going to be thinking this person is actually serious. Yeah. So if there is a professional video that's done, I've seen the videos, I watched your video the other day, you had over 9,000 views on it. I can't really see many people that are going to get many more views than that by doing their own thing, and they're going to get nowhere near it. So it's all about getting eyes in front of your video. Yeah. And if it's not a cost, it's a price. Yeah. Yeah. If the price is whatever, how much does it cost you if you're not in a job for a number of months? Yeah. So that little bit of investment you're making is going to get you in front of people quicker and get you interviews and options. Yeah.
Well, I also found that the amount of comments that you get on it, I know they're comments, but a lot of these people I found are ex-peers and colleagues that you've worked with. And there's some positive comments that come out of this, and these could be used as mini testimonials. So if people see the video that are looking to recruit somebody, they can go through the comments and you'll know straight away if this is a good person. And that's what I found. A lot of people in the UK, people I'd worked with previously before, a lot of positivity was coming through, which again is great for somebody's confidence. So also I think that's another great point with the video resumes.
It's better than going on your Facebook and seeing real life, isn't it? Yeah. on LinkedIn or something like that. I mean, that is the
privacy settings.
Yeah. It's a professional environment, and people are actually giving, like, you're not asking them to say anything, they're openly giving like an open comment about how good you are. So I think that's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
And it's not, it's not overkill. It's not, a 20-minute CV video. It's literally a minute and a half. We'll speak about their best sides. And, we can advance it even further. If there's a particular type of person that says, okay, don't just want to talk about this, can I extend it? And maybe you can throw some fire questions at me. Yeah. Let's say, for example, this is a salesperson who's looking to get a job as a sales director for a major corporation, and he knows that there's going to be a set of 7 questions that will probably be asked by the CEO, we can fire them straight at him at a CV video session, and he can have that as an addition to a CV video. So that's already done for him when the CEO sees that, that session that he has. We also do, and we'll probably touch on that later on as well, we do promotional videos as well.
Okay.
So it's not just a CV video. So if you've got your pro golfers, you've got your PTs, you've got real estate agents that want to talk about, there could be a palm or marina specialist want to talk about the area. So we do cover that as well. So it's not just the CV video.
Nice. I did a podcast the other week, and it's about personal branding, and it's not just a business owner; it's an employee as well. Like, you own that desk that you're working at, and what do people think of you? How do they see you? How do people talk about you when you're not in the room? It needs to match with your work and your personal life as well.
Sure.
And I think with these videos that people do, hopefully you agree with this, and it's the same with a job interview. When somebody says, like, oh, what are your hobbies? And you come out with, oh, I like golf, I like a bit of football, they're not asking that. They're asking, what are your hobbies, but how does that fit with the business, and how is that a positive for us? And I think with these videos, which I've seen you guys do, it is literally all about, right, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to help your business.
Well, that's actually quite a valid point, and a lot of people don't think about that, and I actually didn't even think about that, but one of my things is I was very much interested in the financial markets, and I was in an interview the other week, and he said to me, are you familiar with a P&L sheet?
Yeah.
And so that's something when you're looking into companies to invest into, that's kind of something that you look at. So, I was able to I didn't know everything because each and every company has its own P&L. But it enabled me to sort of decipher what was going on. And he openly admitted before he took on that role, when they did the same to him and put the paper in front of him, he didn't have a clue what was on there. So, you're quite right in what you say there.
Did you want to touch on anything? No? Okay.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like there's actually jobs going at the moment. And I think one thing that people read the news and they'll be like, oh, there's no jobs, this company's let off thousands of people, but you guys have got a job to do, and it seems like there are some vacancies within companies. So do you want to give some information about that?
Yeah, I mean, the bounce backs is coming. It's almost more or less here. How long it's going to be here, we don't know. There's all this talk of second waves and stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and be a pessimist today. No. There is a bounce back. We are seeing jobs coming back into the market. There's a lot more, even with our first business, I'm getting a lot of my old clients coming back to me and saying, Asif, we need X amount of people. We need these employees. Obviously, the borders are going to be opening again, so I think a lot of companies are getting ready for these borders to open for the tourism, which Dubai, which is one of the main attractive points about Dubai is its tourism. So I think companies are getting ready for that, are getting ready for the demand, and therefore the supply is needed. And it's how fast it's going to happen, and how fast its growth is going to happen. I can't answer that.
One of the things I wanted to sort of just encourage you to answer on is you were around in 2008 when everything went terribly wrong. Yeah. How did the market come out of that? I mean, is it as bad as it was then now, or what's your opinion on that?
I think it is a lot. It is a lot worse now than what it was then.
Right. Okay. Fine.
But what I find interesting is the mindset of people, and it's always the same. It's that panic mode that people have, and they don't necessarily have to have that. I mean, if people have an element of patience, have a plan, try to work towards logical plans. And ultimately, like I said, go through a bit of patience. They will come out of it. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and I've seen it. Not only with the recession. I think there was another time that was pretty. It was a pretty bad time for people out here. But it's always the same story. It's those that stay strong, that stay hungry, that are passionate. Those are the types of people that we see that make it, survive, and go on. And I've seen, so many examples I could give of people that were nowhere and they were resilient, and now they're CEOs themselves or directors or extremely wealthy people.
I think the thing is I think the market has overreacted. I know we're in a difficult time, but a lot of companies I think have overreacted. Maybe they've seen it as an opportunity to cleanse. It depends what they're wanting to do. So I think there is going to be that bounce back 100%, and I think it's coming. And I think if the strong will prevail, and 100%. And that again, coming back to the CV video, you've got to be at the top of that pile. Don't be the one of those 1,000 CVs that lands on that CEO's desk. Because I was having a conversation with a friend, in fact, at the weekend, and he said to me, do you realise that on these portals that they use AI bots to go through CVs looking at keywords. So if you apply for a specific job, if the keywords in that job description aren't in your CV, you're going to find yourself a lot further down that pile. And that may have been the case for me, 6-7 years ago, is the AI bots maybe, they'll be more advanced now certainly than then, but that's maybe what is happening. So again, coming back to the point, you've got to be at the top of that pile, otherwise you're going to get left behind when these, when the floodgates open, because these companies are going to need good people.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different roles being created now. Mm-hmm. So what might not be needed now, needed then, all of a sudden these things are popping up. So more tech people, more creators of content, people can work from home. It's just changing. Mm-hmm. And everything's changed now, and we've just got to get used to this new norm, which everyone seems to use that phrase, but it's true. Life has changed for everyone.
But also for global roles as well. I know Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook was talking that, there is a lot of talent out of America, out of the UK, out of Europe, and in this part of the world. And now, because we can work from home and people are used to doing it with Zoom and Skype and all that sort of stuff, I think people are going to be looking outside of the area that they're perhaps within, looking for that exceptional talent.
I think and it's a brilliant idea. It's a way that a lot of people do want to work. And I'm going to just throw the question out there, which I've been seeing and hearing from a lot of people, is how, obviously we're not in an age anymore with, we were talking about it earlier, micromanagement is just frowned upon. But how is one or a boss really able to really manage and see how well that person is doing it, unless they are in an environment together? What's your thoughts on that?
I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
It's all about that relationship with the employee and the manager. There has to be something built already, and there has to be an openness to discussing stuff. Like, an email isn't going to say you've got to get on the phone, so all this whole WhatsApp messaging doesn't work anymore. I know there's all these CRMs where you can track people's pipeline and what they're up to in activity, but you've literally got to speak with somebody. And that's the only way you're going to get to know by the tonalities, or you can pick up on those things. And then you've got to be willing to help them as well, as a manager. I know that the managers are going through things as well, but the employee needs their manager at this time, and they need to be able to protect them. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it will be challenging, and it will take a lot of people to get used to it. But you see a lot of stuff. People need, you employ someone, and you must give that trust straight away. I travel around the Gulf. Well, I used to travel around the Gulf, and I have to be trusted that when I'm in Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, that I'm actually doing the job, and it's not sat by the pool in the hotel. I think it will be tough, and it'll take a lot of getting used to. But also, the video resume, we're also saying to people is, don't necessarily do a video CV based on the job that you're currently doing. Do something you want to do. One of the things I do in one of the videos is, we spend 50 years of our life working. Why do a job that you hate? The idea of the video is to get across the message of actually what you want to do. And I think that is going to create better environments for people to be able to work from home, because they're going to want to get up in the morning and actually do that job. I think that's what's important. What I've noticed from working from home is the fact that there is an element of flexibility, but you don't mind working that little bit longer into the evening time, because you think, well, my working day is relaxed and it's flexible. That's what I've certainly found. That might not be the same for everybody.
Yeah, it's amazing being your own business owner, and when people say, "Oh, I only want to work 9 to 5," and but when you're actually working and you're loving what you're doing. You're up at 6, you're going to bed at whatever time because you're enjoying it so much, and the time just flies by. And that's what I've felt the last 6 months, even in this lockdown. I've just got up every morning with a reason to do something. And I was very lucky, because last year I was looking for a job, I got offered 2 great opportunities, they didn't work out, and I was kind of backed into this corner. And that's why I decided, right, I'm going to get my own business going again. Sure. And some people you can sink or swim, isn't it, I guess? Yeah. And I rose to the occasion, and I couldn't be happier with what I'm doing. And I think with a lot of people now, they're worried a lot about what's going on. But if they can just get through this and keep on fighting these opportunities and making the investment with these video CVs and speaking to people that can give expert counsel, that's what they've got to be willing to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Well, look, there's a couple of things more I want to touch on, and one of those is I always feel that maybe I haven't asked everything I should ask. So is there anything I haven't asked today which you think people should know more about?
Okay, there is 2 or 3 things, but before I answer that, if I can make a bit of a statement of what I've been seeing going on all of these advertisements on social media platforms, is the fact that there's all these companies and all these tech entrepreneurs that are saying, get your own business, you could do it and land your dream job, and that's great, but I think they're missing the trick with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't want their own businesses. They can't do it themselves. They aren't self-motivated enough, and I think that this is a major portion of people that are being missed, and these people do need to work to a structure, need a certain management in place, need to be in an office environment, need to have all of these things happening as well. So I wanted to raise that point because it's just something I've been seeing a lot, and
Yeah, just to touch on that, I 100% agree with you. I always saw myself as this corporate person, and if you would have asked me 10 years ago, would I be owning my own business now? I would have said, no way, I'm a corporate guy. Because I loved going into the office, working with a big team, working with people, being accountable to people as well.
Sure.
And everything had to change if I wanted to do my own thing. And you have to get up in the morning, and I have to be accountable to somebody.
Sure.
So I have people that I'm accountable to, and not everyone can do that. I make up people at times who I'm accountable to, so I 100% agree. You've got all these people pushing out, be an entrepreneur, start your own business. No, if you can be an unbelievable second man within a massive company, then why not? You're looking after people, you're helping people rise up the ranks. It's a great thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just honestly think that there should be more info, more stuff about that sort of thing. It's just like you said perfectly, a great second man. So, I mean, it's let's see where that all goes for now. But it's doing business myself for the last 12 to 15 years. It's people think it's easy and they don't know. It's the setbacks, it's the knockbacks, it's knowing psychologically that you're climbing this mountain, you're going to get knocked down. You just have to keep on going and going, and it's not for everyone. And people think they can do it, and there's a lot of people that get into business and make a loss because they're not mentally prepared for that sort of thing. There's people that are very close to me that don't know. Having your own small business as well, you have to sort of do 4 or 5 different jobs. You have to be they say a jack of all trades, master of none, but you literally have to be a master of all trades and to survive past your first 6 to 12 months. So I think it's an important thing for a lot of people to know as well before they dive in, just to sort of do an element of feasibility studies or what you will. So
I think there's that stress as well, and if the company fails, or you can't blame anybody else. And I think a lot of people that are high up in businesses, it's easy to go, it was the sales team's fault, that's why we're not getting sales, and people aren't sort of self-reflective in themselves, and I've noticed that historically, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And I mean, that's why I'm glad I've teamed up with Asif, because I do think Asif's a very good front man for sure, and and does drive the business very, very well, and I'm sort of there and sort of pushing it at the same time. So I'm starting to reflect as well, is am I the person that can run it at the top.
So far so good.
So far so good, yeah. No, absolutely.
Very good, very impressive. I think we bounce off each other as well. We've the thing with me and George is we had a friendship prior to all of it. We'd worked together on a project once upon a time as well, and then we both the synergy was there. We're both pretty fast at getting things done. As a good friend of mine, which you also know, Alex, he says you get 2 types of people in this world: doers or ditherers, and you were certainly a doer, and I've worked with far too many ditherers in my life.
We've seen a few already, haven't we?
Yeah, well, no comment on camera. But yeah, I mean, and then we gelled off and we just sort of bounced off each other, and I think that's very important. They say picking a business partner is like picking a future partner for life, wife, call it what you want, and that that relationship trust has to all be there, and ultimately getting on, and through the hard times, for the times there are setbacks and stuff, and then of course embrace the good times as well. And
also I've said we want to enjoy it along the way at the same time. We are friends, and we are able to separate the two, and I think that's super important at the same time. But because we work very well together, you know, that's what's, you know, driving it forward. And we've not clashed heads at all. You know, we know where each other's strengths are, and we're just trying to play on those. And you know, we're always sort of, you know, if we were writing a script, you know, I'll draft something out, or Asif will draft it out, fire it over to me, and then, you know, I'll put my 2 penneth worth into it. And I think that's been absolutely crucial for us moving forward as a business.
Sure. And as a business in the CV video, because, you know, doing this as a second business, I know that this has its own set of challenges as well. Again, it is a new concept. People are not really sure. Everyone that we've more or less 90%, 99% of people we come across think it's a good idea. Yeah. They you know, and they're looking at all different angles of it. It's just taking that next step now for people, because maybe they want to see more people doing it. Maybe they want to see, you know, if everyone's, I don't know if I should put this on podcast, but if everyone's got horses and we're living, you know, 150 years ago, and they see a motorcycle or a car, there's going to be an element of apprehension. What is Definitely. That? Should I be doing that? Or whatever new technology that comes out. So I think we're at a stage now, it's in its infancy, but we can see it going a long way. I mean, over my 12 to 15 years here, there has been a lot of ideas that have come to me, etc., from friends, from investors, from all different types of people. And then when George came to me with this idea, and it had the word that we use a lot is it's got a lot of legs. We feel that it does. We feel that it's got potential. And ultimately, I think it's not for ourselves. The reason why I decided to get into this is because it is helping people. Yeah. Whilst the first business might bring in an X amount more, the passion I have is towards the CV video, because I really do think it is not to go as far as revolutionary, but to say it is something that will help a lot of people. I genuinely believe that, and that's why we have done a lot of complementary CV videos for a lot of people, because, you know, what we're also doing, just to sort of touch on, you know, you mentioned, is there anything else I want to add? But what we're doing now is we're going through LinkedIn profiles, and we're seeing people, and we're trying to find people, just like Tony Robbins would sort of find case studies for himself. We're really seeing, we're analysing as much as we can who's in need, who really needs this, and we'll do it for them complimentary, free of charge. And we're doing those things, and we're finding, you know, it's just that relief from those people when they've done it. You're seeing them getting interviews, you're seeing them, and that success story is something that I really feel proud of. I know George really feels proud of that, and that's why we want to do it for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I really enjoy is you know, we sort of get behind them, don't we? I'm like, you know, I see them come in, and I had a young Indian guy come in, and I was very, very impressed. He came fully prepared. He had 2 copies of his CV his CV script printed off. Yeah. He was super nervous. You could tell he was very timid. But as soon as he got going, he was fantastic. And you know, I was really rooting for the guy. And it's the same for everybody. We're really rooting for them. What we try and do is we like and we comment and we reshare their videos as well on LinkedIn. Offering that support, because that's the algorithm essentially for LinkedIn in being able to get that reach, and that's what we're going for. So, you know, it is nice to see people, you know, get final interviews, and I think we've got 2 or 3 that are into sort of final stage interviews and looking to get jobs. So, I mean, that's a great feeling. That makes
Especially
us realise,
somebody actually getting in front of people and being an opportunity of having a job. Obviously, these videos are working. Then, that's great.
And it makes us realise that, you know, we're perhaps heading down the right route with it. And I'm liking the fact that we are helping people with this.
I think, like, with what I do, if I'm giving somebody skills in regards to selling, which is actually going to provide for themselves and their family. So rather than giving them money, I literally give them these skills which help them close more deals, hit those commissions, and provide for themselves and their family. And that's what I get very proud about every day.
So is that something you do? Do you do like online courses? How does your business work?
So it's face-to-face, but the way the market's going now, it's online as well. But it's very interactive. So somebody just doesn't sit there ticking a box. We prod them, we make sure that they're being interactive with it. And a lot of the feedback we've had is how energetic everyone is afterwards and wanting to kind of get on the phone and speak to people, because they've now been given the motivation. Because it's all well and good giving somebody sales skills, but if you can motivate them and make them believe that they can actually achieve, then that's where the real love for it comes, really. Yeah.
I must say, I mean, with all the staff that I've had, that's probably one of the most challenging things to get someone to be, you know, like you said, you can do your part perfectly, give them the skills, give them whatever that needs to be done, but it's that belief within, that motivational belief, and for them to really believe and really hit their peaks is the achievement, the sense of achievement for them is that, you know, even now, like, I prefer, all these leads come in and I just love giving them out, especially to the new guys as well. It's just, you know, you just really want them to succeed and be happy and go through the opportunities that maybe we had, you know, so it's, and again, going back to the CV video scenario, that's exactly what we want as well. We really want success for a lot of people, and we're pleasantly surprised with the success that we've had from it. We've thought it might take a bit longer, it might be some setbacks, etc. But you know, straight off, and that's credit to George's work on the editing and the team that he has behind him, doing all the editing and all of that sort of thing. And it's let's see where we are in 12 months' time.
Well, I think it's you're doing something that's out the box. Hopefully soon enough it will be, oh, not another video CV, but at the moment when somebody comes in and they've got this professional CV on the video, it's going to stand out, and that's what you guys are helping people with.
Well, that's a valid point you'd made, because I think someone said to you, Asif, that oh, you know, I'm starting to see these video resumes that we'd done. Oh, you know, I'm probably too late. Well, no, you're not. I mean, this is very much in its infancy, and, you know, the time is now. You know, get involved in this. And, you know, a video resume that I put out might not be seen by the people that the video that you put out. You know, that's how social media works. And, you know, even though we've put out a number of videos now, people are going to be seeing these different videos. Not everybody's going to see them, and that because not everybody's on LinkedIn all the time. You know, I know certainly when I'm traveling a lot, I might not go on LinkedIn for the whole week. You know, so I'm going to miss out on potentially a whole lot of content. So, you know, I think it's important to get involved now. And I'd like to see it being the future. You know, we want to get it to a point where companies and employers are saying, well, actually, who of these 10 candidates have actually got a video resume, so that they can send them across with the paper version. Because if someone can sit there and, you know, go through 10 candidates, they're an average of a minute and a half, you know, it's not going to take him long to realize, well, actually, how they come across, how they speak, you know, their experiences, and then from there they can then shortlist it down to maybe 5, and they can go through the CVs at the same time and pair them up, and that's where we see it going. And, you know, we would say if recruiters want to reach out to us and get involved, if they've got roles that they want to place individuals on, and they want us to do videos for those individuals, that's something we'd certainly consider doing.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know.
We're also building on the technology aspect of things as well. So we'll have a platform like you've got your recruitment portals like your Gulf Talents and your Bates, etc. But we'll have our own platform where companies can search for specific types of people and then see a 30-second video clip. We do want to make different types of advancements when it comes to that sort of thing as well. There might be certain questions or certain responses that a person that's doing a video CV would need to make or should make. There's a lot of ideas, a lot of planning we're going to be doing. We're going to be reaching out to a lot more companies, institutions, universities. You know, a potential graduate scheme. We want to be speaking to universities. If there are any headmasters out there and you want to speak to us, we can do that. Where we're going to. A lot of these graduates, they don't know where to go next. They've got no experience. It's COVID. Even experienced people aren't getting jobs. There's 1,000 applicants. What chance do they have? I mean, these are all the frustrations they're going through. After all the expenses that they've paid for doing that graduation, and you know, these are things that are real problems and real issues and real stressful scenarios. So one of the, you know, we provide a solution here, and we can speak to universities and get them to do their CV videos and talk about who they are and all of these types of things, just for them to have a bit more of a chance. Maybe we'll favour them over the experts, but you know, there's a lot of things that we're developing right now, and these are just a few of them.
We just don't want people to sit there. You know, you sit there and you don't do anything, and you wait for that recruiter to contact you. I think that's
we're waiting a long time.
Yes, you certainly will, but that is really not the right idea. You've got to be proactive, otherwise, you know, you're going to be 3-4 months down the line, and other people are going to be taking those positions, and you're going to be thinking, well, I'm running out of funds pretty quick. You know, what am I going to do? And there are a lot of people that are in difficult situations. So yeah, I mean, I sort of said to myself, before I'd partnered up with Asif, I'd said to myself, I could probably get to the end of the year, and by that time, hopefully, I think we need to. It's like with anything, the summer's always a bit of a strange one in the Middle East because it's so hot. And we're in the summer holidays. The schools have just gone off now, so a lot of people, when they can travel, are going to want to go to Europe, where it's it's a little bit cooler and they can enjoy the summer. But I think when the children start back at school, which is early September, I think that's when things are going to start moving. Plus, companies are also going to be starting to budget for 2021, and so they're going to be thinking, well, how are we going to achieve that budget next year with the team we have, and do we need to recruit more people in order to hit that? Yeah,
but these people need to be doing this now, because when in September, when all of a sudden everyone's like, I've got to get my video CV done, there's a massive load of people, so get it done now. And how can these people reach out to you?
We have several ways to reach out from. Go on our website, it's got our details there. We have an Instagram page, we have a LinkedIn page, we also have a Facebook page, and every other page you could probably imagine other than Twitter. Don't sue me, Twitter, but probably not in America, they can't. There's we can leave our details behind as well. But a lot of our work is on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I did also want to touch on something that you mentioned a little bit earlier. I think it's very important for people to know, and going back on what you just said a moment ago, is do it now sort of thing, because there are just so many people like, oh, that looks really good, maybe in a few months' time. And again, as you said earlier on, it will end up being a cost if you don't get a job. I am finding a lot of people saying, oh, we'll wait, and then those 2 months pass. They might, their financial security is getting worse. They're having to pay for their rent, their car, and all of that sort of thing. Then it's like, oh, I should have done that. And I find, and there's correlation there, because when I'm working in my first business, the recruitment industry, we're giving people advice as to where we think they should go and where we necessarily don't think they should go now. Or it might have been, it's just like you're investing into a fund or something, like, that's a brilliant fund. 2 years ago, maybe not now. There's something new now that you should be going for, but that would have been good. And we do the same. We can do the same sort of thing when it comes to advising which types of companies to go for. So I found people will do what they want to do at the end of it, whether it's an emotional decision or whether it's a decision that, one of their loved members, family members said, oh, you've got to go for this job for whatever the reason. And then they come back to me 2-3 months later and said, oh, I wish I joined that company now. Is it too late? I'm like, oh, it might be. And it's the same thing with this video scenario. But we have a solution for that too. What we're also doing is something part of our platinum package as well, is we're allowing people to do, if it is a worst case scenario, people don't do the video CV and they have to go home. They just can't stay out here. We're doing a package where they could do a video CV for, case study, you're based here in Dubai, you've done with it, you have to go back to the UK, they can do a video CV for the UK audience and target.
Or wherever they're heading to.
Wherever it is,
so it doesn't matter. I mean, it can work anywhere. You can have it done here and then take it with you, post it up, and then get people in that area to get them involved. One of the other things we're looking to try and do is do sponsored as well. So if people really want to invest that little bit more in themselves, is we can go down the sponsored route. So you probably see on LinkedIn promoted options. That's something we'd also be looking to do, is where we can then promote it and try and put it in front of the right sort of people that they're looking to get in front of, which we obviously have an extra cost associated with it, but that's something we can do as part of the consultation process.
But again, you spend a little bit more to get in front of people quicker, and that's it's worth it, definitely.
So one of the questions is why wait? You've got to act now, because the time will just disappear. It's amazing. I mean, the weeks just go by, and it seems to go quicker here than it does seem in the rest of the world. I don't know why. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Sunday being a working day, that's what I think. Because once you get Sunday done, bam, you've only got 4 days left, and you're normally doing Monday to Friday. So
that's
that's what I've always thought.
You're probably right. You're probably right. It's probably a psychological thing.
Cool. Okay, so going back, one last thing that you think, that I haven't asked, that you think people should know about and would help people out at the moment.
Okay. What I'm finding is there's a lot of people that think it's okay to send a CV. I'm just going to send my CV out every day. I'm going to apply to jobs. I'm going to go in these recruitment portals. I'm going to go through, I don't know if I should or I'm allowed to say the names of other recruitment portals and names, but I won't do it for the sake of discretion. But apply, go on these portals, do this, do that. And you know what? I'm just going to sit there, hope, pray, do whatever it needs be, and just hopefully something will happen, especially at this time. And I'm categorically saying that is a bad idea.
Okay.
What people need to start doing is something different. Now, it doesn't have to be a CV video. If there is, if they could go networking, if they can, reach, they probably have already reached out to their contacts. If doing what George said earlier on is, trying to get through to a director and speaking to them, it will be much more difficult now. But you've got to do something unique, and you've got to do something. So we can help give advice as to what to do. But the CV video concept, we specifically created that because we spoke to hundreds of recruiters. We went back and forth with all these different ideas. What can people really do to make a difference? Because what they're doing isn't making a difference. And the video CV concept, over and over again, in all the statistical research that we did, came up to be the top draw. And we honestly believe that that's something that people really should start looking at doing. And even to have a chat with us, we can talk results, because people want to know the process and the results. That's something we can provide and prove to them as well.
No one's had a bad word to say about this, and everyone said it's a great idea. It's the future. It's the way forward. So I'm pleasantly surprised, because normally you get negativity from certain ideas and what have you. I don't know whether it's because of the time. There's a lot of redundancies going on at the moment, but
maybe not in our faces.
Yeah, maybe not. There's always someone trying to tear your tower down, eh?
Well, I think as well, it's the time in regards to how long the video actually is as well. Yeah. Like the attention span that people have is getting less and less and less. And I'm finding with the videos that I do, anything that's longer than a minute and a half, you are losing people. Yeah. So get the most important stuff out of the way first. Yeah. And, if they do hang on till the end, then great, but make sure you're getting the information out at the beginning.
No, I agree. I mean, that's why we should have tried and target around a minute and a half to 2 minutes maximum. Yeah. I know for YouTube, 1 minute 45 is kind of the where people just kind of black out and go off elsewhere. So the same must apply. I mean, it's human nature. The same must apply for other places like Facebook and LinkedIn. Because I had an individual ask me, do you think we get up to the 3 minute mark? Because he said, you get more engagement because the algorithm works for 3 minutes. And I said, well, yeah, it's a valid point, but again, you've got to get them to 3 minutes, and that's going to be the challenge. So a very valid point that, you've got to try and get the most important information at the start. Go on, Asif.
So it's only giving you a 2 minute podcast then?
I think we're up to a 54-minute podcast at the moment.
Is it 54?
No, we're at 50. Okay. No, we had 51, 52.
All right, well...
They all switched off 50 minutes ago.
I think so, yeah. There's been a lot of information today. Like we're going to digest it, take it in, put it out to people, and put it in a way that they can get the information in. So I really appreciate you guys coming on today.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for coming in.
And hopefully this will start something good. Yeah, because I think these videos are a big thing. So I wish you the best of luck.
Did you have any advice for us, or any feedback that you feel that we should maybe look at in our concept of video CV? Is there anything that you...
Put him on the spot now.
Put him on the spot, yeah. Of all of my massive video experience, I think, like I mentioned before, this whole thing is about, when somebody says to you, it's like elevator pitch, yeah? When somebody says to you, what do you do? All they want to know is what you can do for them. Yeah. So it's like on my top of my LinkedIn now, I help businesses that are struggling with sales structure, drive revenue, and have better relationship with clients. So that's who I help, that's the problem, and that's the solution. Good. And I think in these videos, if that can be put into it, then that will get in front of people, and they'll be like, well, they can actually do something for me. Yeah. I don't care about anything else. What can they do for me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And does that touch on another point? Is our when we're discussing it? Is that, I don't know if it's something that we discuss on this podcast, is the costs. And we won't talk about the costs. We won't talk about that. But I'm just saying the value people get for investing into themselves, because that's something that comes up a lot as well. And I know we're gonna finish, but we're just gonna rewind back into that. But I think it's a question, for me it's not valid, but it depends on who you are, eye of the beholder and all. But there's a question that comes up every now and then is people say, well, I think I should get it for free. I think, I don't know if that's something to discuss. And we do want to do things for people, and we do a lot of freebies for people as well. But we see it as investing into yourself. And you came up with some very good points on that, saying a return on investment and all of that sort of thing.
Well, the thing for me is, you said you kind of deal more on the sales side than I do, because I'm kind of more of the back end at the moment. And people say doing it for free, and it's a tough one because people will happily go out for dinner and go out for drinks and go out for a brunch. And I did a video that says, these video CVs are not going to cost any more than a high-end brunch. It was kind of add a bit of flavour to it, and we're not too far off the truth. And we're all guilty of it, and I will happily hold my hand up. I've done it. I've been out of work, and and I'll still go out. We'll still go, to a bar or to a restaurant, take our other halves out, and then the money starts to disappear, and you're still thinking, I don't know whether I'm going to do the video CV idea. That's what we're finding. But sorry, I went off a bit of a tangent there, but trade license costs, there's lots of costs associated with setting up a business. This is a business, and at the same time, we've got to put food on our table. So we're trying to do something the same. Yes, we love helping people out, we really do, and that's why we've tried to price them in such a way that it's not too expensive, and it's something that someone could go, actually, yeah, I'd be comfortable in making that sort of investment to get me that job. And you'd be amazed the amount of people that will go and spend 1,000 dirhams on going into a restaurant on food and drink for just two people.
Yeah.
So, that's my opinion. I don't know whether I've sort of gone off on a negative point, but, that I would say that would be my frustration. And, people will spend on silly things when they don't have work. But this is, it's important. Your job is important.
And we are giving considerably higher discounts at the moment as well. We're doing a special cabin crew discount right now. It's a case-by-case scenario, but off the go, we've offered a 25% discount, which is available for the next month, so you better get involved. Okay. But yeah, we are doing considerable discounts, and we're looking at things case by case.
Yeah, I think what's good about what you're doing is you're not just getting them in, doing a video and that's it. You're consulting them as well. Yeah. And that's where the real value is. And it's like I did a video the other day about adding value, and I bought a digital camera last month, which I haven't used yet, but it was a lot of money, but I don't know how to use a camera properly. But what really added the value was the lessons, which they're going to do, 5 face-to-face lessons. So now I'm really going to understand, and that was worth as much as the camera to me. Because now, once I get that done properly, I'll be able to do these professional videos, be able to load it up to my computer without losing the quality. Yeah, because this is what happens. You do it on a camera, you put it onto your laptop, you put it onto Instagram, you send it to someone, the quality goes every single time. Sure. So if you guys are doing it professional, it's coming across professional. But just touching on what you've said there, and I was going to ask a question. When somebody says, you do it for free, well, would you say to them, would you work for free? Yeah, I have a job for you now. You don't get paid for it. Would you do it? And they'd say no. But what I wanted to touch on that point was, well, if I offered you a job for free and there was potential to get a job from it, would you take the job? And a lot of people will say no, because you should be paying me. But it could take you 3-4 months to get a job. And if you work for a month for free, and you get this potential opportunity, rather than not earning, at least you've been out there doing something, keeping active.
Well, there's that saying, free to fee. So, for example, a videographer or photographer will have to do gigs for free to get the content and the portfolio in order to promote themselves. So that's a very valid point you've made for sure. So, it's important that, you do these things for free. Well, not for free from our side, but you made a valid point on that for sure. No, people wouldn't.
But you've been putting out content as well, which has been helping people. Like just the videos that you upload, people get advice for. Like that's nothing we do is original anymore. It's by getting inspired by what someone said and what someone's done. So they've seen your video, they've seen you done it in a professional way, and they might get tips from that. Whether they use your service or not, you're still adding value to them. So it doesn't need to be that the video is for free for the service. You've given loads of out to the community.
Yeah. Good point. Very good.
Well, someone said to me, "Oh, you come across as very charismatic on the video." That's just been practice. I mean, that's, it's not something, I've not just walked up to the camera and started doing it. I did like you did, I had 200-300 takes, and I've been in front of that camera for day in, day out, so that's where the coaching comes in, is I can, what I've learned, coach you in the best way possible, so that there is no fear then with that camera, and you can deliver a good speech and your script to camera, which then we can produce and then put that out to the audience you're looking for.
I think this is what I've tried to be with all my videos and everything I do, is being authentic. I don't think there's anything about this fake it till you make it type thing. It's like, this is who I am, and this is why it's so good to do these journeys, like tracking your journey that you're on, because this is what people buy into. They want to see you be raw with it, and doing an interview where you're kind of telling people what your skills are, and even revealing some of your weaknesses, but how you recognise what your weaknesses are and how that can be a benefit to people. People love that. Yeah, and
it's interesting because you mentioned that movie Get a Job, and I coincidentally saw that myself a few weeks ago, and one of the biggest differences.
I thought is that the one you mentioned to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the difference is they're charging $38,000 as a membership fee.
I wish we could.
And then they'll get you a job. Well.
Could get to that potential.
Who knows? But.
So did you want to go through pricing? Because you talked about a discount, which everyone's getting, but what are they getting a discount from?
Well, okay, so there's a list price, and then due to the current environment, we've given 25% off.
Okay.
The best thing to do, because there are so many different packages, is to pop to the website.
Okay.
It's parkersinclairproductions.com. Head over there.
Perfect.
If you scroll down, there's various different options. There's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, dependent on your budget and requirement and what you're looking for. It gives a breakdown of what you get for that, and then it's up to you. If anyone has any questions, do reach out to us. We have a live chat availability on the website. There's also Instagram. We both have access to that, and the team does as well. So we can respond pretty much straight away if anyone has any questions. Any sort of consultation as well, a basic consultation if you've got any questions. We don't mind picking up the phone to the guys, as long as we're not on the phone too long. Because
minute and a half to 2 minutes.
Yeah, minute and a half to 2 minutes, otherwise you'll lose us.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I think I said thanks a lot before, but we ran on a little bit. So.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But no, perfect. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. I hope there were some real gems that you get inspired by and take action with. Within the description, I tried to mention everything that's been spoken about, but on a daily basis, I put out content to inspire and help others. To see more, please like, subscribe and follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcast. Search by the name Mark Sclair. Thank you very much again, and I hope you enjoy the journey.